Mike mocked me for having another daughter, but the next second I slammed him to the ground. In India, grown men are looked down on for having girls. But if you have a boy, you hand out sweets to everyone you see. My luck was never on my side. My wife gave birth to 3 daughters in a row. For the 4th child to finally be a boy, I went to every so-called expert in the village. When it was time for delivery, the whole village was even more anxious than I was. They all wanted a boy so they could take credit, but it was another girl. I went completely silent on the spot. The experts were too embarrassed to say a word. The only reason I was so desperate for a son was because I became the national wrestling champion at 19. But right after that, my father forced me to quit and farm. He said wrestling had no future and told me to face reality. So I pinned all my hopes on the next generation. But 4 daughters in a row completely buried my dream of raising a wrestling champion. Until one day my neighbor showed up with his injured son to complain. Without thinking, I assumed my nephew did it. But my wife told me it was our daughters. I looked at my 2 girls, then at the bruised boy next door. Instead of getting angry, I asked them to demonstrate it in front of me using my nephew. Hair pulling, punching, chokeholds, and takedowns. That was when I realized they inherited my wrestling genes. So I decided to train my daughters to become wrestling champions. I used to believe wrestling was only for men, but now I understood that gold medals do not care about gender. The first thing I did was take them to eat fried dough, and told them this would be their last feast, because wrestlers are not allowed to eat greasy or spicy food. Then came the devilish running training. They had to wake up at 5 every morning, run for 2 hours under my supervision before school. My daughters complained that skirts were not made for running, so my nephew was forced to give up his favorite clothes and watch them get cut apart. With proper training outfits ready, the training only got more intense. From quiet streets and narrow alleys to dirt paths in the fields, from the steps outside our house to the wooden bridge 10 miles away, from squats under the trees to jump rope in the yard, the 2 girls never stopped moving. The brutal training pushed them to the edge, so they turned to their kind mother for help, but their mother could not save them, because the wrestling arena refused to accept girls. So I cut grass in the fields myself and built a wrestling pit with my own hands. Every day I taught them techniques. Adjust your stance, keep your eyes forward, wait for the right moment, then go for the takedown. To help them improve faster, I dragged my nephew into training too. Just when I thought their skills were finally sharp, during practice against my nephew, reality hit me again. They simply did not have enough strength and had no power to fight back. All the brutal training had only built their endurance, so I decided to improve their diet. I told the chicken farm owner, one day my daughters will become wrestling champions. Right now I pay 20 rupees for a chicken worth 100. When people find out they grew up eating your chickens, do you really think you will ever lack business? The owner thought it made sense, but to avoid looking too easy to fool, he still sold it to me for 25 rupees. What he never realized was that this would become the most valuable investment of his life.